Welcome back to SL Chennai Speaks Out. Now, out of the 16 blacklisted deemed universities in Tamil Nadu, 3 are run by politicians and fairly well-known politicians at that. Suresh, this is something which has really spoiled the system. Many believe that, politicians do they have any business in education, or do they want to make education a business?
Well, I don't have any problems with politicians owning colleges, but the only thing is, when
This
they are in
political
power.
clout is then used to bend rules.
Yes, that's the problem. When they are in power, then it's used to bend norms. But thankfully, this time, I think that both Prime Minister as well as the HRD Minister are very firm that they're not going to allow political interference to stop this cleaning up process. And in any case, now there's a reverse trend also. The educationists who want to launch political parties now.
Yes.
Agree with his point. Nowadays, in all the universities, mostly the deemed universities, the politicians are ruling that the students who don't follow, the politicians, they even don't hesitate to beat the students and make them not to attend the university exams. This should be strictly prohibited, and the government should put a rule that none of the politicians should support for the universities, especially for the deemed universities.
In the past 5 years, 36 colleges, affiliated colleges are given deemed university status. Are they how they gave this status? On what basis they gave this status?
Yes, sir. This is indiscriminate, distribution of the deemed university tags.
I fully agree that the qualification to become a deemed university, the institution should have a research background and research output. They should have shown considerable research output, which are missing in many of the institutions, and therefore the committee either has misguided the University Grants Commission, or the officials in the system have misguided the whole system and then granted the university status. And those culprits have to be identified and taken action. Listen. I'm only saying that we have to correct the system. I'm not saying that you close down the university and then send the students out. The point that you are saying that you want to close down the university and then take the students elsewhere itself is basically wrong.
But
I don't want them to be disturbed at all.
Is that the only option, Suresh?
I think that's the best option available.
That's a Hobson's choice
That's
today.
the best option because, you can't perpetuate this. There has to be an end to this.
Where do you stop this? Where do you stem the rot, sir?
We are having all education system. As an education, definitely I can say that it's not that easy to allocate students to some other university. Syllabus, everything is there, above all. What about the teachers? Teachers are very much affected. And so government is not in a position to give any employment. What about the teachers? Whether they can, now they will be on the streets.
That's
Okay,
an India.
how many deemed universities pay their teachers the AICTE defined pay scales or the UGC pay scales?
At least they are given something.
Are they
Winning
made to
bread,
just sign?
winning
Are they
bread.
at least made to sign?
Winning bread they are giving. Even government is not giving.
What are they giving, sorry?
Yeah.
What are they giving?
Winning bread. At
Okay.
least they can survive.
Okay.
What about the government is not doing that one
subsistence
also?
allowance.
You know,
Subsistence allowance.
let us-
Subsistence. When you say to earn their
No, no.
bread, subsistence
As far as-
allowance.
and-
And
we
that
are
affects the
helping.
quality of teachers.
I think-
that affects
as
the
far
quality
as
of
it is
teachers.
not true.
There's a shortage of teachers in the deemed universities. Then
No,
why
no,
should we
no.
worry about the numbers?
Government never mentioned
So
about
you're saying the
teachers.
good teachers will get employed elsewhere.
Yes, they can continue to serve it as an affiliated college. Why are these deemed universities resisting the affiliated status? Tell me that. Why do they? Because they don't have any monitoring. They want to function like an individual
Not
island.
resisting or favoring. Government is throwing the opportunity. They are applying. UGC is scrutinizing. They are coming, inspecting, giving status. What else you can do?
And despite all this, the system is like this.
You are trying to justify on so many ways that whatever has happened, it's okay, let us continue, let us soft pedal the issue. See, that is not going to help the whole system. The whole society has to evolve, develop. We have to, one of the strongest point in our country is our education. So our human resource is one of the strongest points. We have to have good education. Because we have good education, we have a standing in the world. So education has to be developed. We can't soft pedal with these kind of, corruption in education. There is a whole lot of corruption. If we start listing every one of them, it will stink.
Why don't you
So,
do that, sir? Why don't you do that? We don't mind a little stink here. Do that.
See, there is a deemed university right today in this city which is having 120 classrooms for first year. Do they have that many staff members? If they come to our institution, they want to count the number of staff individually, take photograph and identify whether we have sufficient one staff for 16 students. Do they have? They don't have. They are far from it. So ills are too many. There needs to be surgical actions required to correct the system. So please don't justify.
No, I accept
please
your view.
don't justify.
Listen carefully well.
No, let
I
me
accept,
complete.
I accept your view.
Sir, let me complete.
If the ills are there,
let
that
me
should be
complete.
rectified.
Let me complete.
Okay.
Please don't talk about it from your personal standpoint. Please see the whole thing in a bigger picture. We need to correct the system. What the minister has started is done it in a very right earnest. Maybe they are very late. They already had one term. They should have done it earlier. They have not done it. At least now they are doing it. Some of the institutions need to be closed. And there will be problems. There will be problems. We have to work it. You see, first we did not make it work. We granted university status to institutions. We did not make it work. Now at least we have realized we must correct the system and make it work. The whole deemed university system is very, very essential for our education, and we need to make it work.
Tandon committee is comprising very few people.
4 people.
And 4 people. You know, the global job, nearly 3 lakhs jobs are waiting. No candidates. Maritime field. What government took action? So, when they allow special maritime status to the university, and whatever the government is doing.
Okay, offshoot to that question, Suresh, I want to ask you, India's gross enrollment ratio, we're told is 11%. The world average is 23.2%. So is, this whole thing of blacklisting universities, is that a feasible solution in the long run in the interest of students as well?
No, it is, because access should also come with equity and quality, like I said earlier. And therefore, unless there's quality, you can't talk about access alone, because you will be producing unemployable graduates. Now that is a bigger problem. You will be creating Naxals in this country. Those who are not employed, they will take to terrorism. These are the ones, idle mind is a devil's workshop. So ideally, you should try to provide quality education. Improving access does not mean setting up shops where they can, go to a study center, buy some book, and then write an exam in one sitting, and then pass it out. And then go away. That is not, giving education. That is literacy.
That's what it even before the Tandon committee released.
The government university vice chancellor himself said that we are producing graduates, 7% of the graduates are employable. So does it mean that you are going to close down the government universities?
No, I'm saying
that please never think of closing down the institution. You have other mechanisms to check these people.
Not check.
No, the government universities don't flee students. They don't charge capitation fees. They follow the reservation system.
So we are told that you are now on that second list, given time to actually, to buck up. You admit you are on the second list?
Yes.
Okay. What will you do now, sir? What will you do now, in the next few months or years to ensure that to tone up your system? And how did you get here in the first place?
Get to the second place or
to the second list, to the second hall of shame, as it were.
How we got was we have put in only 1.5 years, so the evaluation for us cannot be done with reference to the output. So that is one of the reasons why they could have put it in the second list. But as far as the infrastructure or research facilities available, you cannot say anything wrong with that, because they are not able to evaluate the output of the present system. They might have given us the second this one, otherwise we should have come as the first.
So I would like to ask you a question, like your university has been given a notice for improving the infrastructure and education system.
It has not come to us yet. It is in the papers.
It is in process. Okay, sir. So don't you think that the other 16 universities should have been given a notice for improvement, and then they should have observed it for at least 1 year or 2 years, then taken some action?
See, what the committee did was they first sent a very descriptive pro forma questionnaire to all these institutions, collected data about the research output, about the faculty strength, students admitted, and then they asked them to make presentation. And most of the information, except for the infrastructure which is seen through video, other things were corroborated. The committee also had access to 47 reports of the UGC committees on the deemed universities, which is 1/3 of the deemed universities in the country, a fair sample. They perused that. That also corroborated the infrastructure and the other things. Therefore, they did not undertake a physical visit. That's what the committee has given an explanation. And secondly, if you notice, the committee has found that in terms of research output, some of the colleges have simply come and presented research that was done by the faculty while they were earlier working as college teachers, or it has been research papers published in their own in-house journals. Nothing that can be verified through a strong database.
Don't you think 10 parameters should be sent to these 16 universities and given some time for improvement? It's just because of this, based upon the 10 minutes presentation, what they made, the decision was taken off for recognition. Okay, half an hour. Just based upon some presentation, not even visit or to that academic
institutions which are on the deathbed cannot be, diagnosed at that stage. Certain institutions, I'm not saying that the committee was right or wrong. It is up to the 44 institutions to go to the Supreme Court. But some of them, I can assure you, that they need to be wound up. They don't even, deserve to exist as colleges.
All right. On that note, we'll slide into another break on SL Chennai Speaks Out. When we come back for our final segment, we'll analyze the role of the UGC.
We can only give you the knowledge input. The thirst must come from inside.
UGC is there, they are vested with powers. What they are doing?
But what were you doing, sir?
But we are
What
doing.
were you doing?
See, they are giving guidelines, they have to check up. Otherwise these things will come.
This country needs more universities.